Good morning, Tom's River, Ocean County, New Jersey, and all of America. I'm Dr. Barbara Schneider here live today on Radio Free America, a station that still speaks the truth no matter the consequences. It is Saturday, October 5th, 2024, and we have a great show planned for you. As always, I'd like to thank Dr. Michael Katchmar for the use of this studio. I guess the FBI can find us if they want. Jeremy sitting across from me, who gets all this up and running.
That's right, guys. Hi.
I'd also like to thank Dr. Gabriel Jasper for sponsoring me on the radio, and Paul, the patriot, the brains behind WOBM, who makes sure we are heard Sunday mornings at 6 a.m.
Right.
He used to be the man behind the curtain, sort of like the Wizard of Oz, but now he's the hidden man standing up for truth, justice, and the American way.
Hey, I like that.
So, as always, I want to start by plugging the local businesses, okay? They are the backbone of the U.S. economy. They are responsible for 50% of jobs in this country. They are under attack by the camel toe lady and Biden, the diaper wearing sort of president.
Is he even relevant anymore? Or is it just all common?
I don't know who's running.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. She came in and then he just kind of stepped back into the shadows, right?
Yeah. So again, starting with local businesses, to start, TSF disposal, dumpsters, cleanouts. I know that everybody is poised waiting for what happens next month, but the garbage doesn't wait. You can try putting it in your little garbage cans outside the door for recycling, or you can get a dumpster, okay, from TSF disposal.
That's right.
Prices are good. The service is unbelievable. You can book online or in person. It's a 5-star rated company.
I mean, you got like Thanksgiving coming, you got Christmas coming. You're gonna want your house to be tip top for family or whatever. So you gotta get yourself one of these amazing dumpsters, and it's so easy. And empty out that house, man.
You bet.
Empty it out.
C&G Country Cafe, 2 locations, and Tom's River Heating and Air Conditioning. That's the Petty family. They're local people. Please patronize them. For your beauty needs, don't let that go, ladies and gentlemen. There's Frank and Maria's on Fisher Boulevard. There's Salon Allure on Route 37. Both of those people have helped me tremendously, okay? And Harmony Salon up north. You're a bunch of barber babes. The service is great. The people are great.
Yeah.
Let's Go Brandon for your political needs on Route 37. They keep up to date with everything that's going on, with every assassination attempt, with every bloodied ear and face.
They got an up-to-date shirt for it, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. I was in yesterday.
Listen, I don't even want to wait for everybody. I think we need to see the shirt of the day.
Okay. So the shirt of the day is pretty generic.
Yeah, but I think in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right?
Yeah, we're going to go to that.
Yeah. So we got Trump Vance 2024. That's great.
And
hey, just a question, and I've been asking everybody this. Have you even been seeing any Harris signs up?
There's a Harris sign on Old Freehold Road. It takes every iota of self-control I have not to egg it, because either people are stupid or more likely brainwashed by the media. And I'm going to go into that.
Right.
Okay. So I also want to plug the farms in New Jersey. Try to go there for organic produce, meat, and other products.
With Thanksgiving coming up, you're going to want your pies. You want to, your favorite pie for everybody.
Reserve a turkey.
Yes. See, there you go. Like these local farms are needed. I mean, they're the cornerstone of every holiday.
So there's Silverton Farm in Tom's River, right on Silverton Road. There's Sugar Maple Jerseys, Sickler Circle View Farm, Triple C Angus, Cherry Grove Farm, Clover Valley Farm, Hidden Creek Farm, Farm on the Point, and Springdale Farms in Cherry Hill.
Hmm.
Um, you can Google them to find out where they are. It's worth going out there to eat healthy. The stuff we've been putting in our bodies for years and years, thanks to big pharma and big food, we have to just flush it out and get healthy again.
Yeah.
We know don't only need to make America great again, we need to make America healthy again. Okay?
Make our food great again. Does anybody actually know what a tomato is supposed to taste like? Because they're all really just genetically altered and to what we think a tomato should have been.
Well, there's an increase in homesteading and growing your food at home and having chickens and fresh eggs.
Self-sufficient.
And the people in North Carolina who've been devastated, and I will be getting into that,
Oh,
their food supply has been disrupted.
Jesus.
So on this show, we talk about medicine and politics. For those of you who you know me, and hopefully for new people, don't forget to share the episode. I'm a
That's
board
right.
certified general surgeon from a time when medicine was great. And I specialize in the treatment of breast diseases and breast cancer. I also fix hernias. I don't do all of general surgery anymore because I don't want to.
Now, when you say hernia, is the ones where they blow out in the front, you fix those?
Sort of,
Sort of.
but it has to be a hernia, not a diastasis.
Oh,
So-
I don't even know the difference.
That's okay.
Yeah,
If you need me, I can fix it.
you can figure it out. Yeah. All right.
So, as everyone knows by now, this is October and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
That's right.
And your best screening tool is a mammogram. And I want to talk about breast cancer and the history of the treatment of breast cancer because Americans led the cure. Americans found out how to do it. And the world did play catch up, but it was a time when America was great. So let's look at breast cancer. And I've talked about this before, for some of you, this might be a repeat, but it's worth repeating because it points to the absolute dominance of America in health in the old days. Not anymore. In any event, in the 1800s, if you were a woman who got breast cancer, you died. The mortality was 100%.
Yeah, that was it, right?
And a doctor, a surgeon came along by the name of William Stewart Halsted, who is incorrectly labeled as a mutilator because people are ignorant and don't understand. And Halsted was very interested in breast cancer. He was interested in medicine as well. He loved women. He was not a misogynist. He was a bigot because he was a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, but he loved women.
I'm a white
said-
Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Yeah, well, that's...
Oh.
So he became very interested in breast cancer, and he did travel to Europe to watch the great surgeons there, Bill Roth and Coker, do gastric surgery. And they did do breast surgery. The problem with Bill Roth and breast surgery is that he killed everybody he operated on. So that wasn't a great idea. And Halsted was very, very disappointed. And he came back to America, went to the lab. And after grueling research and dissection and study, he developed what was called the Halsted radical mastectomy. And it was a big, big operation. And his thinking was that if he could do a big enough operation, he could beat the cancer. So the radical mastectomy involved removal of the breast, removal of the chest wall muscles, the pectoralis major and the pectoralis minor, and the lymph nodes below and above the axillary vein. huge operation. And that was a time when there was no radiation, no chemo, nothing else but a surgeon and his hands and his mind and his will to win. And with the Halsted radical mastectomy, he got a 50% cure rate. Unheard of, unheard of. And that statistic stood for over 70 years.
Wow.
The 50% cure rate. And Halsted had a lot of issues. One, he had experimented with anesthesia and became addicted to cocaine.
Like you do.
Because there were no studies at that time. You experimented on yourself.
Sherlock Holmes took cocaine, it was a thing.
But yeah, but he didn't save all these lives. And in any event, Halsted saved his mother's life, his sister's life. He married his OR nurse and developed gloves for her because she got a rash from operating. They didn't use gloves at that time.
Mm.
And Halsted did something else. He developed the residency training program as we knew it before the 80-hour work week, the same residency program that I did. And the people who graduated from his program went out and became heads of departments of surgery all over the country. And what they did for breast cancer was a Halsted radical mastectomy because that's how they were trained. And the reason that cure rate stood the test of time was because no one else developed any other surgery until about the 50s when the modified radical mastectomy came into being. And that was an operation where the chest wall muscles were left in place and the surgery was smaller. And they were able to continue with the 50% or so cure rate. And in the 70s, women started saying, can't we do something to save the breast? You didn't have all that plastic surgery and breast reconstruction at that time. And women were asking, well, why can't we save the breast? And nobody knew the answer. And a lot of surgeons were afraid to buck the system. And
just like today,
the government became involved, and they asked a man named Dr. Bernie Fisher, out of the University of Pittsburgh, to organize some prospective randomized studies. Those are the most accurate way of doing medical research. You have a concept, you get your patients, and you follow them forward. You don't look back, you follow forward. And it was interesting, Fisher at first didn't want to do it. He was a transplant surgeon, but they convinced him that this would do a lot of good. And so he helped organize what were called the NSABP studies, National Surgical Adjuvant Bowel and Breast Program.
Wow.
In the government and their initials.
That's a mouthful.
And whereas Halsted's premise was that breast cancer was a local disease, so if you did a big enough operation, you could beat it, Fisher's idea was that breast cancer from the outset was a systemic disease. And so you could probably do a lumpectomy as long as you had medication and radiation to accompany it. So they organized these studies, and one of the first studies was, is lumpectomy and radiation as good as mastectomy? So they took like 100 women. Actually, thousands of women participated in these studies, but for this conversation, we'll keep them like really simple. So they took 50 women, 50 had lumpectomy and radiation, 50 had mastectomy, and they followed them for 5 years. And at the end of 5 years, cure rates were the same. So that was the entree into breast conservation. So 2 or 3 studies down, someone said, well, if lumpectomy and radiation is as good as mastectomy, what about lumpectomy without radiation? So they took 100 women. They did lumpectomy and radiation on 50, lumpectomy without radiation on 50, and they followed them forward. But they stopped that study at 2 years because the women who did not get the radiation, more than 80% recurred at 2 years. So they knew then that radiation was necessary. Okay, and that they've repeated that study like 4 or 5 times with the same results. And other surgeons in other countries started to participate in these studies to add volume and patients to get, the larger the sample, the more accurate. And these studies have continued until today. You pose a question, you have the patients sign up for one side or the other, and you follow them forward. And that's how we have learned about, good morning, Sheila, about which medications work, which treatments work. And because the medications are quite lucrative, Big Pharma has gotten involved, but in a good way, because breast cancer is the most curable cancer in this country because it's been the most studied. And we know the most about tumor markers, and we have women who have certain tumor markers are able to be treated with medications against those specific tumor markers. So you have patient-specific treatment, which is more successful, the most successful kind of treatment. And what it does is, even if you're not cured, the idea is to turn cancer into a chronic disease, sort of like diabetes or heart disease. So you take a pill and you go on with your life. In 2023, there were almost 300,000 women diagnosed with breast cancer. That same year, there were 43,000 deaths. Death from cancer has decreased dramatically over the last 20 or so years. And we would like to see that continue. It can only continue if America continues to be great.
Yeah.
There was a time when the value of life in America was the most precious thing we had, more precious than any other country held their citizens. And we have an administration that is desperately trying to change that. So, since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, if you come into my office for whatever this month, you leave with a pink carnation. We honor those who fought. We honor those who are still fighting. We honor those who won. And we remember those who didn't. So if you haven't had your mammogram this year, go ahead and get it. I've had mine. Okay. So the other thing we discuss on this show is politics. And the reason we discuss this is because it is politics that is bringing down American medicine. There used to be a time when people came from all over the world to American hospitals and American institutions to get their health care. Not anymore. So let's see why. So we got
a man just setting his brain out for a stroll. I don't need you anymore. I am woke now. Yeah, that's the only way you're going to become that, right? And then we got a man and a woman in like
winter clothes
and
in
it
their
says,
bedroom.
sure, we can't afford to heat the house, but Orange Man is gone now, Karen.
So we all know that one of Hitler's ministers, Goebbels, is the one who said a lie told often enough becomes the truth. But he also said something else. Propaganda works best when those who are being manipulated are confident that they are acting on their own free will. And in the upcoming election, what we have,
The Trump platform, put America first. The Harris platform, stop Trump at all costs.
cackle, cackle, cackle.
I've been watching on the the news and on YouTube as well. They've been showing you like all these clips of Kamala Harris just before she decided to run, right? Or she was made to run. And she is she's saying everything, I am against fracking, I'm against this, I'm against that, and I'm against this. Then they do the flip side, her now. And it's like she just changed all of her mind. And that's why I'm saying get ready. If she gets in the office, look out for the biggest flip-flop you've ever seen.
She's lying.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to talk about this election. America is on life support. We, the citizens, have been betrayed by Washington. We have specifically been betrayed by the Democrat Party. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who are loyal to the Democrat Party. They're going to vote Democrat. Their parents voted Democrat. Their grandparents voted Democrat. That party of Jack and Bobby Kennedy, that no longer exists. You're making a big mistake. You've been manipulated by the media. And the media says orange man bad, brown woman good. I hear someone complain to me that Trump doesn't discuss policy because the media plays a clip about him talking about the crowd size over and over and over again. He hasn't talked about crowd size in weeks and weeks and weeks. He's talking pure policy. They are misquoting him. They are showing clips that have been edited from other speeches months ago to make you think that he is a self-centered prick. No, he really, really cares about America, and he's getting sick and tired of being indicted and arrested and mugshot and shot at and vilified for trying to make America great again, because the people who are doing this to him will lose their power and their wealth.
Yeah.
So we have been betrayed by the media. And let's talk about brown woman, because I hear women say, yeah, you're right, Jeanette. I hear women say, oh, I'd love to have a woman president. Oh, the first woman. Oh, this and that. Well, let's talk about how this woman got to be where she is.
Oh, boy.
Now, I was a surgical resident in the 70s. Title IX said you had to give women a chance. Okay, so I was accepted into a surgical residency, a really good one too. And every day for 5 years, they tried to get me to quit. Every single day. By false accusations, by the worst rotations, by working all the holidays, by getting extra call, by getting humiliated, which, you can't do anymore. And I didn't quit. The last night of my chief residency, the last night, they tried to get me to quit. And it didn't work. And I didn't sleep with anybody or do any funny business.
You persevered.
I took it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have had to, but I took it. And they didn't beat me. How did Harris get to be the DA in San Francisco? She screwed her way into that position. She lay down and spread her legs.
Montel.
No, first was Willie Brandt.
Yeah, I know, but I think
Then
Montel's
he came after that.
Montel's the direct shot to the White House.
So for all you women out there who want opportunity for your daughters, is that how you want your daughter to succeed? Really? I have a daughter. She's got brains, man. She's like unbelievable. Is that your idea of a successful woman? Is that how she's going to handle Putin? Really? Really? And look at her husband. He's talk about a misogynist and a sexist and whatever. Is that your idea of a successful woman who hasn't uttered a single policy decision, who hasn't done anything but lie and cheat and steal and go to the border where illegals are crossing and wear a Tiffany necklace for $62,000? Really? That wants to be the leader of the free world? Not true, Sean. Okay. And because of Biden and Harris, and Biden's been non compos mentis. I mean, he's had severe dementia for years. So was Harris running it? He said she was part and parcel of every decision that was made, probably by Obama, who hates America. So because of them, the axis of evil has arisen. China, Russia, Iran, and probably North Korea. We've seen the decline of America. We've seen the worship of pedophilia. With our open borders, there are between 300 and 400,000 children missing. What life do they have?
We were talking about this, Mike and I, on the show before, about all the people coming across the borders and stuff, and all these, and a lot of these children just vanish. And I said, well, who's to say that when they're crossing the border, that those kids belong to them? Like, they could be just bringing children across, and that's what they sell to set themselves up in America. They
They're
sell
not-
it to sell them to.
They're not coming with their parents.
Yeah, they're not. They're being
It's-
brought across and then sold. That's what's happening. But no, but that we're not talking about because
Well, I'm gonna,
yeah. I mean, the rest of the world's not talking about it. The rest of the country,
and a brief mention of the debate, which wasn't even a debate.
huh?
At least the country got to see an eloquent, calm, educated American dream star, JD Vance, who's been demonized by the media. I mean, he is the American dream. He is American exceptionalism. And you saw Tim Walz trying to desperately find a tampon someplace on the screen. And you have the moderators who were frankly disrespectful to a seated US senator and an American citizen. They cut out his mic because he objected to them breaking the rules. So they silenced him. That's the left's modus operandi, to destroy free speech. And, looking at JD Vance and listening to him, he is a strong, strong candidate. And it speaks to Donald Trump for getting a running mate that is that powerful, that strong, that exceptional.
Mm.
Because Trump's not afraid of exceptionalism. So, and don't forget, they fought harder to protect us from ivermectin than they did from fentanyl. And as I talk about the pedophilia among the rich and the powerful, which is, this really goes back to the Old Testament, to the Bible, the Moloch worship. And God found it so offensive that he had the Israelites destroy the Moloch worshipers, the Canaanites, who did child sacrifice, child whatever. And it is an offense in the sight of God. It should be an offense to the sight of man. Which brings us to current events. Sean Diddy Combs.
Oh, glory. Yes. This is what I was hoping you were going to mention.
So Sean Diddy Combs is a billionaire who made his money with music, rap, clothing, all sorts of like business ventures. And he also had some dealings with the Kardashians, which is hard to whatever figure out. But Eric Adams, the current mayor of New York, who's under indictment for taking bribes from Turkish people, the Turks, whatever. Eric Adams gave him the key to New York City. Great.
When? When did they give him that? Like before or
before he was indicted?
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that there's like at that level, complete separation of races. Like if you look at Sean Diddy Combs, he only deals with African American people. And he was recently caught on video beating and dragging his girlfriend, Cassie, along a hotel hallway.
Yeah.
And he paid the hotel like $50,000 to get that video, but somehow it was released. And it launched an investigation into his behavior. And it appears that he's been sex trafficking and abusing minors for at least a 25-year period since he was arrested. Now, this is a powerful man who has unbelievable resources, and he is currently in solitary confinement in jail, a la Jeffrey Epstein. And since he's been incarcerated recently, this past week, 120 new alleged victims have come forward. Most of them are children. He's been accused of sexually assaulting a 9-year-old after drugging him with horse anesthesia. And
a boy.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about this Diddy. He's got this, like, it's not even closeted. It's like a very open homosexual tendency. Like he's like kissing people, other men on lips, and like famous men.
I don't know if it's homosexual or heterosexual. It is asexual. It is power.
Yeah, it is power.
It is not sexual at all. It's like rape is not sex. It's
but like
power.
the humiliation games he would play at his so-called white parties, like he would say to a young person, I will give you like $100,000 and a record deal. Okay, but you have to go over there to my security guard and perform fellatio. Like humiliation things like that, because he's got money. Just
that's for the courts. This is just.
I know. This is me just blowing off steam, but yeah.
Elon Musk put out a statement. How many people in the music and entertainment industry knew about this? It's like the Jeffrey Epstein thing. How many people knew about this? The only thing is they haven't implicated Trump in the Sean Diddy Combs thing, like they tried to do with Jeffrey Epstein, but he had nothing to do with them. Yeah, Jay-Z is number 2 in wealth after Sean Diddy Combs. So he's a billionaire, Combs. His music things alone generate $100 million a year in royalties. His abuse of those around him has been a closely guarded secret.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to tell you now, they're all going to spill their beans. They all are. They're all going to come out. This is going to tear so-called Hollywood apart, not just the musicians in the musician world, but Hollywood stars like Leonardo DiCaprio, all of these people who attended these Diddy parties and allowed themselves to be part of all of this sex trafficking and craziness. It's all going to come down on their heads. And at this point, I mean, I'm completely fed up with the word celebrity in Hollywood. I think this is an eye opener that they absolutely need.
And what we need is for American citizens to realize the level of betrayal and the divide between these rich, amoral people
Yeah.
and everyday Americans.
Will Smith and his kid too, Sean, on top of Jay-Z, Usher, and Bieber. Yeah.
We need next month for people to get out and vote. Don't vote Democrat because your mommy and your daddy did. It's not the same party.
Yeah.
The Democrat Party is the party of pedophilia and an absolute abomination. They are the Moloch worshipers. They must be destroyed. So,
Sean. Will Smith, he's on though.
oh well,
Yeah.
I'm trying to cover a lot.
Yeah. No.
So let's look at the current administration, which wants to be reelected.
Oh,
Now, Kamala Harris does not have an original intellectual thought in her mind.
Mhm.
And so, although she's lying now to try and get votes from idiots who think that something will change. I mean, is your life better than it was 4 years ago? Mine is not. Financially, security-wise, I don't know who's in the woods behind my farm. I mean, you've got illegals
Holy
running all over the
smokes.
place, and a whole bunch of them are murders and rapists. You have a gang war, a vicious gang war about to take place in Chicago, where these Venezuelans are trying to displace the existing gangs in Chicago. It's going to be like, what was his name? Snake something or other, and Escape from LA, Escape from New York. Remember those films?
Jack Pliskin. It was what's his head? Married to Goldie Hawn. What's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the guy, Snake, whatever his name was.
Snake. Yeah, Snake Plissken. That's it. Snake Plissken.
So let's talk about. Yes, I do, Mom. Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank God. Thank God. Because we don't know what's out there in the woods.
Yeah.
So, under the current administration, we've seen a virtual collapse of domestic affairs in the United States. And let's start with the absolute disaster in the South. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell,
Yes,
buddy.
that's
Thank
it.
you. Yeah.
So, the southeastern United States was ravaged by Hurricane Helene. And we have a federal agency that's supposed to deal with disaster, supposed to. It's called FEMA. FEMA can't. They're broke. They gave $1 billion of their revenue to illegal aliens for their shelter and services program. So while Americans are dying and drowning in Georgia, North Carolina, and elsewhere in that area that was ravaged by the hurricane, illegal aliens are living in luxury hotels. The Biden administration allocated $750 to each victim. Now, since inflation, you know how far $750 is going to go.
That'll
There
get you
are dead
like
animals,
3
horses,
bags.
chickens, sheep lying on the in water, in mud on the side of the road. You can't get to the victims because the roads have been washed out.
Yeah.
And since there is no federal agency, where's the Army Corps of Engineers? Where's the National Guard? Where is
Wait, they're
where,
offering those victims 300 and how much?
$750?
Oh, $750, and they think that's going to make a budge with their homes gone and everything?
Not only that, but private citizens who have organized mule trains and helicopters and relief efforts are being turned away by the Fed. When asked about it, Biden didn't even know what storm they were talking about.
Oh my God! Of course you didn't. Of course.
So Harris hasn't been there. Biden hasn't been there. Trump is there with Samaritan's Purse and other agencies trying to save people. And Biden and Harris are nowhere to be found. This is worse than the Katrina response. There is no response.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You have private people airlifting with their helicopters because you can't land anywhere. Everything's been washed out. There's no electric. There's no power. There are no toilets. There's no water. This is the United States of America. And last week we authorized $8.7 billion for Ukraine, which is led by Zelensky's a comedian. What the heck are we doing there? So far, they have received, Ukraine has received $64 billion. And we can't help our own Americans. We can't get through the roads in the United States of America. Well, look at Route 9 here in Toms River. I don't drive on it. I'm afraid of a blowout. Sean's got a truck the size of I don't know, it's like huge. And he's afraid to drive on it. I mean, Route 9, the United States of America, this is worse than a third world country. And we have no power. You know, I tried to do some research on oil production because they say, oh, American oil. We're producing in 2023, the United States produced 12.9 billion barrels of oil. Iran is producing 3.2 million barrels a day, thanks to the United States. And you're going to vote for Harris? What idiot out there, and I will call you an idiot, a non-informed, bigoted, piece of crap idiot, is going to vote for Kamala Harris? If you hate America that much, get the hell out of my country. Get the hell out. The gloves are off. If you're too stupid to see what's going on, broke my dash on the mic. I told you, and that truck is big. If you're too stupid to see what's going on and have a Harris flag outside your house, then get the hell out of America. Or go try to assassinate Trump again, and you won't even get arrested. You'll get a medal. If you are that stupid and that uninformed and going by CBS and ABC, get out of America. Go to Cuba. Go to Canada. Go anyplace else. And let us rebuild America. This is Ayn Rand, and we're in the valley. And we will come back and rebuild America. But you people, you hangers-on, you moochers, you non-producers, you people who can't change a tire, get out. Get out. The Department of Justice has to be dismantled. Do you know that Jack Smith re-indicted Trump again? He just reworded the same indictment that was kicked out because he has no standing. And this is within 90 days of an election. This is against the law. This is election interference to influence the idiots out there who think that Trump's a bad guy, who thinks Trump did anything wrong.
The liberal headline readers.
This is criminal behavior by Jack Smith. Where the hell is Merrick Garland? The Department of Justice will do anything to take Trump down. They'll shoot him. They'll indict him. You'll get Mershon to put him in prison. These people have to be deported. Give them to Putin. Oh, give them to, Fat Boy in North Korea. Let them see what it's really like. The FBI, the Secret Service, they're all full of crap. Get rid of them. If she is elected with the help of the morons with the Harris signs, taxes and regulations will be unsustainable for small
I
business.
saw that idiot
Small-
Will Wheaton wearing a Kamala. Those designs where you see somebody's face and it's like a suffusion of red and blue.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I've got a Kamala.
Yeah,
thing.
something similar like that. He was wearing on his chest, with proud as can be.
How many Democrats does it take to change a light bulb?
None. Kamala tells them she fixed it, and they sit in the dark and applaud. Yes, sir. Oh, that's it. That's it. 100%.
So, on FEMA's website now, wait, what else does Kamala want to do? She's saying outright she's going to raise taxes. Are you assholes in Monmouth County so rich that you don't care about your taxes? Well, I care about mine.
Well, they don't read that deep. That's why.
You think, oh, the first woman president.
Oh my God. We were saying that about the first black president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Look what that got
And
us.
look what that got us.
His third term. So she also wants to tax unrealized capital gains. So if they say your property went up in value, you're going to pay a tax on that, even though you're still living there. That's what that means. And what it's going to do is wipe out small farmers and organic foods. And we will never be able to make America healthy again. Yeah. And they will keep vaccinating our kids, and they will hold you down and jab that COVID vaccine into you so you get cancer and die. And they will continue to kill America. So you share this episode so that every person out there who's thinking of voting for Harris knows that they better pack their bags and get the hell out of my country.
You know, my kiddo called from Harvard the other day, and he's like, I need to get a flu shot. Okay. He says, Harvard's insisting that their students get this flu shot. And as soon as I heard it, like my head peaked up, and I said to Maggie, I says, is he sure that the jab isn't included in that flu shot? Because I'm always wary of that. Ever since they mentioned it once, okay, I don't trust flu shots at all. And I told him, I said, find the paperwork, look it through, make sure it doesn't say anything other than the flu shot. Because I don't even like a school telling my son he has to get anything to stay there.
The flu shot is created using last year's flu.
Yeah. It's a live.
It is unclear whether it works. People are brainwashed into thinking it works.
It does. Yeah.
Any mandate that says you have to inject something into your body is a violation of Nuremberg law, which Obama suspended. And they do not list what's in these vaccines. They lie. You do not know what was in the COVID vaccine.
Is it any wonder they've made Hitler and Nazis a no talk topic? You like on a lot of YouTubers will not say Hitler, will not say Nazi, because they're afraid their videos will be stopped, or they have so many means of dissuading people from mentioning these things. But I think that they're trying to do that, so we're not taking a closer look at our government and making those correlations between the two.
Let's take a look at FEMA, which is the Federal Disaster. So they have a new website. Their goals: number one, equity as a foundation of emergency management. Mm. So are you going to tell me that a man drowning and a woman drowning is there's an equity thing going on. What kind of moronic thing is this? Then number 2, leading the whole community in climate resilience. You're drowning.
Mm.
Climate change doesn't have a factor in this. Then they had this big photo shoot with Kamala. She's photographed pretending to work on the FEMA disaster.
Oh, give me a break.
But her earbuds weren't plugged into a phone. They were probably receiving messages from Obama. Her notes, the sheet of paper was blank. She took no notes, if she can write. And yet, last week, we sent $8 billion to Ukraine and $567 million to Taiwan. We sent money to Israel, but they pay us back. And right now, they're fighting for us because Iran is attacking American targets in the Middle East. The media is not reporting it. And they're defending Western civilization while Biden says, don't you dare take out their oil fields, because he's afraid the price of oil will go up.
Of course it will, because he's done away with fracking.
Oil from Iran.
Yeah.
So this is like the rescue missions in North Carolina. They're being stopped by the federal government. Stopped.
And what's happening with the Jews? I'm sorry. I mean, that's history repeating itself, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Yes.
I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Oh, good, good.
So
I always jump your gun, but I'm just so enthusiastic about it. Oh man, we got he's holding a big bag. So it says U.S. billions. He's got a sippy cup. And people are reaching out. One behind him says, the Helene flood victims. One's reaching out for the bag of money, and it says Ukraine. And Biden states, we've given you all we have, and he's giving it all to Ukraine and not our people suffering from.
People are still dying there.
Their losses, yeah.
We have thousands missing. We have at least 240 people dead. We have thousands missing. We don't know where the animals are either. They've been horses washed away.
But this is like the same old story whenever there's a massive hurricane coming in. Oh, we've got all these people in the stadium, and FEMA's taken like 17 days to get to them, or this or that. It's always something where it's like all of a sudden it's like our first hurricane, and we're like so shoddy at trying to deal with it and our people and give them aid.
And look at the border. We have fentanyl overdoses. At the same time, doctors in New Jersey face losing their licenses if they give a patient in pain an extra pain prescription. Okay? You have this prescription monitoring plan in New Jersey, and God forbid they get 12 Percocets instead of 11. Yeah, well, that's a very good question, whether they can vote at all. So Asheville, which was completely destroyed in North Carolina, was known for being a Democrat enclave. Most of North Carolina goes red. Yeah. So we have an influx of murderers, rapists, and gangs. At the same time, they want to defund the police. We have
that old chestnut.
Crimes against citizens are excused, but if a citizen jaywalks, they'll be in jail. You have an entire J6 phony committee that incarcerated people who did nothing wrong. And you have the gear up for the election, the jobs report, okay, that came out this week. 254,000 new jobs. Really? That was like last month's jobs report where they made a mistake of 880,000 jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 254,000 jobs are mostly part-time. The amount of full-time jobs went down. 1.4 million of these jobs, okay, went to illegals. Okay, illegals got, of all the jobs given, 1.4 million, and this 254,000 will be revised downwards after the election. The drop in interest rate, the 0.5 percentage points. Wow,
Mm.
two minds. That was just for show. It didn't help inflation. It doesn't help home prices. And giving people $25,000 for a down payment, how much money are you going to give away, Kamala? How? That's not America. I'm not willing to pay for someone else's home deposit. So,
But they know. See, Kamala knows that the people there, even though they turn up their noses at the amount, we are chomping at the bit to get anything at all, and they're just dangling string in front of them.
you're destroying American capitalism.
Yeah.
In the meantime, 4% of Haiti's population has been relocated to the United States. 4%. And they say it's absurd for Donald Trump to claim illegal immigrants eat up cats and dogs. These aren't people who want to come to America and become Americans. These are people who want to come to America and establish their own countries in my country. You don't want to be an American? Get the hell out. Or at least elect Donald Trump so he can deport you. So you're going to say the illegal immigrants don't eat up cats and dogs. They only eat up emergency shelters, hospital beds, schoolrooms, and social services. You can't even teach in America because they're sending in these kids who don't speak English, who don't know how to behave, who probably don't know how to use a toilet, who are carrying lice and other diseases, and our kids can't get an education.
Yeah, but they all have like the hottest pocketbooks or bags and the latest telephones.
They've been given those telephones and debit cards and money.
You don't just
and
get
free
like a
housing.
flip phone that you got to pay as you go. No, you're getting the hottest stuff.
And this was, I just had to include this.
We got a
duck
is that
talking to the
yeah, talking to the police, and the
goose.
police are saying, according to her statement, she's concerned about the health and welfare of her family in Ohio and has been unable to reach them. Oh, that poor thing.
Yeah, because they ate them. They're eating our animals.
Yeah.
They are doing their culture in my country. Get out. Get out. If I sound angry, I am.
It's because you are, yeah.
So let's talk about.
But like, because now's the time to be outraged, right? By all of this, and like you said earlier, who said it? Goebbels. If you say something,
A lie,
tell a
told
lie,
often enough becomes the truth.
that has been their game card.
That is the media
since the beginning.
And anybody still taken in by it, anybody who's not suspicious about what's gone on the last 3.5 years, anybody who's voting for Harris is an idiot.
And you go to these
moron. This isn't free speech anymore. You are an idiot. You are trying to destroy America. You are complicit in the destruction of America. Everybody's allowed to make a decision, but this is so glaring. The repercussions are so glaring. It is no longer an option.
Yeah.
It is like suicide, homicide. It is wrong. It is an abomination. I just want to get to foreign affairs. Biden, Harris are going to be the cause of World War III. There's already war in the Middle East. Iran has a piggy bank of $100 billion and growing, thanks to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Russia is rich. China is ascendant. They want their currency to be the reserve currency of the world. Israel has been attacked on multiple fronts. It is Hezbollah who crossed the border and initially fired 800,000 800,000 missiles into Israel. And it's now, or I'm sorry, that might be 80,000, and now it's 100,000 missiles.
Right.
Did Biden ask for a ceasefire? They had to evacuate all of northern Israel. They crossed the border, they attacked, and now Israel's being accused of attacking? No, 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 no. They're retaliating.
See, Deborah here is shocked about people actually eating animals. You know, I saw a YouTube video yesterday, and it was a police officers arriving at a scene, and there was a a foreigner eating a freaking cat in the bushes.
Yes.
They grabbed them, and they're not even cooking them. You know, they're
Cats and
eating
dogs.
them, and they're trying to get the cat away from the person, and they're just like clinging to it because it's, this is real. He wasn't just making a joke. This is
no.
actually happening out there.
It's, of course it
Yeah.
is. And the media tries to ridicule him because the truth is these people are eating cats and dogs, and they're saying, oh, well, it's just feral cats. Do you know how many feral cats are on my farm? Because I
Right.
saved them.
Yeah.
This is not what we do as Americans. They have no right to bring their obscene culture into my land and do that. Deport them. Get out. So when Israel retaliated to defend herself, the world condemned her. Biden condemned her. Biden told them to stop. Bullshit. Israel, you need to take out Iran. And the fact is, not just Hezbollah and Hamas bomb the oil fields, bomb the docks, and bomb the nuclear facilities. You're on the attack now. And it's not just from the northern border and from Gaza. From the West Bank, they come over allegedly to work, and they shoot people at bus stops. This has been going on throughout the peaceful terms. There has been no peace. But when Jews are killed, the media doesn't care. But, oh, a kid in Gaza was killed. He was protecting a missile. Or the children in Lebanon. Lebanon does not exist. It is Hezbollah. The citizens who are not Hezbollah can get out. You're going to lose your home? Oh, well, Israelis have lost their homes too in a fight for survival. And
see, that's where our money should be going to, is the Israelis. And but it's nuts. It's nuts that they are giving cash bundles to the Ukraine. When was the last time you saw anything happen there on the news? You don't. It's because it's not being reported, or nothing's happening.
All the money that goes to Ukraine, there are kickbacks to the media and the politicians. And there were no kickbacks from Israel. They're just people who walk out of the UN because it's okay for Jews to be killed. And the trope of the sniveling Jew has to end.
Gee,
the Israelis are
evil.
fighting back.
That's evil.
The whole war in the Middle East was enabled by Biden and Harris. And the fact is that just as in Gaza, in Lebanon, Hezbollah has the bombs in living rooms, garages, children's schools, everything. Israel warns the people to get out, and then they bomb them, and they kill these Hezbollah leaders. And I don't think they should stop until they've taken out Iran. It offends Joe Biden. Hey, Joe, I thought you went to synagogue in Scranton, Pennsylvania more than the Jewish people did. But you hate Jews. You hate Israelis. You hate Netanyahu. These Jews, these Israelis are fighting for their survival, not for their ice cream, not for their nursing home, not for their diapers. So, Joe, shut up. And Kamala, you idiot, you're
Laughing
campaigning.
hyena.
Yeah, laughing hyena. But of note is that U.S. warships in, I guess, the Mediterranean or the Red Sea have fired 2 rockets at the Houthis. So you have a bunch of barbarians in bathrobes holding up trade in the Red Sea, and
Yeah.
America can't deal with them. You fired 2 rockets? Jesus, grow a set. Help the Israelis. The Israelis are defending Americans and Israelis in the Middle East, and they're doing it alone. And they will continue to do it alone because America is not stepping up. Shame on America. Shame on them. And in terms of,
Deborah says, too bad Joe wasn't even half the man yet Netanyahu is.
Netanyahu is.
Yeah.
So Thomas Jefferson said, when the people fear their government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty.
Mhm.
We're afraid of our government because they're arresting innocent people while the criminals and rapists and murderers and illegals run amok.
And it's allowed.
And
And more of that will happen.
and this is really
Oh,
important.
that's from the comic book Watchmen. That's Mr. Manhattan on the planet Mars, and we see the cost of sanity in this society is a certain level of alienation. Yes, it is.
That's why you need to think for yourself. You need to ignore the media buzz, which hates Trump because they'll lose their bribes. You need to vote for America. It's crunch time. This, I've said it before, this is the battle for the survival of America. It's good versus evil and God versus the devil. And as a note to our Jewish listeners, well, they don't listen on Saturdays, but maybe on Sundays, the Jewish New Year took place over the past couple of days. It's called Rosh Hashanah, and it is a 10-day period of reflection ending in the holiday, the celebration, the observance of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. During this 10 days, people are inscribed in the book of life. And the saying is that is used is, may you be inscribed in the book of life. And I've really never understood this because everybody's inscribed in the book of life. And actually, may you receive a favorable inscription in the book of life.
That's it.
Because this might be the year that you pass away. And that's what's inscribed in the book of life. So for all our observant, non-observant, whatever people, may you receive a favorable inscription in the book of life, because for the upcoming year, the book is sealed at the end of Yom Kippur, which is next Saturday. So not everyone is guaranteed life. Not everyone is guaranteed good fortune. We don't know what the future holds. Everyone has an expiration date. Only God knows what he has written in the book of life. May all of you have a happy, healthy new year. And for today's quote, I actually went to the book of Deuteronomy. I read quite a bit of this stuff because it's the only way I'm going to get through. And it says, the eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee. O people saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, and who is the reward of thy excellency. And thine enemies shall be servile unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. So go ahead, Israel. Take out Iran, not just for you, but for America and for Western civilization, because that's the only thing that's going to stop them. America can't. So you have to defend America, little Israel, with God on your side, God by your side, and the wings of eagles. So, thank you, Deborah. So, anyway, thank you for spending this hour with me. Please share. Please plan to vote. If you know someone who has transportation issues, take them to the polls, help them. We have to turn out the vote like never before because they will try and cheat. They are evil criminals. They are obscene. They are Moloch worshipers.
Mm.
Really,
Now,
really.
do you reckon we'll have an election day or an election week?
Well, they already started with mail-in ballots.
Did they?
Yeah, they have revised the voter laws in 36 states.
Hmm.
The Republicans have been working hard. Of course, that's not publicized because the media doesn't want you to know that they've cleaned up voter rolls. And they're doing everything possible to prevent what happened in 2020 when Trump won the election,
Right.
but Biden was seated. And I know that's capital crime saying the 2020 election was stolen, but it was. And I guess, who knows when they'll come to get me too, but whatever. I can't stop. It's my service to America. I love my country.
That's it.
I love my freedom. I love what I do. And if you need me, I'm in Toms River, 732-244-2060. I hope to be there for a while. So thank you again. We're still free. Go out, enjoy this beautiful autumn day. And remember, we have to save America.
Yeah.
We're the ones who can do it. Take care. I love you all.
For more information about Dr. Barbara Schneider, please go see barb.com. And remember,